Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about an important topic, that is Buddha and Buddhism, the quest for enlightenment of Buddha. So, here we shall be discussing about some important advancements which were held during the time of Buddha, how Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment, and what was the story of Buddha. We shall also be discussing about the sculpture and the arts which were inspired by Buddhism and what were the ideas that Buddhism adopted, the teachings that Buddhism gave to us. So let's begin. First of all, we shall be discussing about the backgrounds that were happening at the time when Buddha came. So, here one thing to be remembered is that Brahmins were the one who were ruling classes and Kshatriyas were in the place of the kings. Brahmanas had whole influence on most of the empires, so Brahmanas were the most important class at that time. All the texts which were written were by the Brahmanas and the language was Sanskrit. But the common people were not able to understand Sanskrit because it was tough. Other than this, the common people were able to understand the languages such as Pali, Prakrit, and Tamil in the south. This whole story revolves around the time of the mid first millennium century, that is around 600 BCE. There were many kingdoms emerging in the Ganga valley. The 16 Mahajanpadas were framing at that time. Most of the kings were Kshatriyas and had monarchical rule in most of the states. But some other tribes people like the Shakyas clan of the North India and the Satavahanas clan of the South India were also ruling lineages. They were from outside India, still they adopted the Indian society and the Hinduism which was a trend here. Now we shall be looking about the life of Buddha and how did he grew up. Buddha was born as Siddhartha, two son of Sakya clan chief Shuddhodana in 563 BCE. His mother was Maya Devi and he was born at Lumbini, which is currently in Nepal. The story revolves around the prince Siddharth, who was always kept in the palace so that he should not see the outside world, which had much more sorrow and grief than the palace. Siddharth had never experienced sorrow. So, when he grew up, he asked his charioteer to take him outside the palace and show him what is happening among the public and how do the public lived. So, he saw many things happening there. One was a dead body, an old man, a sick man, and many more things. He was deeply anguished by the sorrows which he experienced outside the palace. He said that what is the reason behind all these sorrow that are experienced by humans in their lives. He, after this happening, said that he would be going out of the palace to meditate and know that what is the reason behind all the sorrows that are there for human beings. He left the palace, left his wife Yashodhara and his son Rahul, and had gone to meditate. He meditated for several days, first by the process of bodily mortification, where he had experience of near death. After that, he thought that it is not the right process to meditate to know the truth of life. Then he meditated for approximately 49 days under the Mahabodhi tree, that is in Bodh Gaya, and he attained enlightenment, which is known as Nirvana. After this, he became a preacher and a teacher of Dhamma and sought to teach Dhamma everywhere around the world. What was this Dhamma? The Dhamma is the process of attaining enlightenment and doing whatever the task has been assigned to you. It is the process of being right in the life and on the right path. It is the process of doing one's own work rather than interfering with other works. In whole, Dhamma can be said as the path of righteous living. Now, we shall be looking about the teachings that Buddha taught to the world in his whole life. Buddha said that the world is transient, that is, changing, and it has no soul, that is, it is soulless, and everything can die in the world. The world has nothing eternal in it. Everything contains a form of sorrow because the world is changing constantly and has nothing constant with it. Then sorrow or dukh is inevitable to human beings, and it comes in everyone's life in one way or the another. He stated that to stay away from sorrow, one should practice moderation between self indulgence and the extreme body mortification and ultimately attain Nibbana, that is, the enlightenment. Nibbana is a word which is used in Prakrit to describe enlightenment, and the Gautam Buddha was known as the enlightened one. Ultimately, Buddhism in whole focuses on enlightenment. Buddha said that the whole social world is creation of humans, and to stay away from the sorrow, he stated that one should be moderate between self-indulgence, bodily mortification, and ultimately attain Nibbana by being on the path of righteous living. Ultimately, whole Buddhism focuses on what is stated in Hinduism, that is moksha, or stated in Buddhism as Mahaparinibbana, or the ultimate enlightenment that one has after the experience of death. He is free from the cycle of rebirth and death, and this is the basic principle of Buddhism. Now we shall be looking about the followers of Buddha and the emergence of Buddhism as a whole religion. So, Buddha founded a Sangha, or a group of people who were his students or like students, whom he preached the lessons of Dhamma and taught what he had gained from the experience of enlightenment. So, these students were the monks. In the starting of the Sangha, the students were only men and women were not allowed in the Sangha. But his student Ananda, who was his favorite student, said that he should also admit women in the Sangha. I think so. Reason behind this strategy of Ananda was simply to say that in the future, when women will be gaining their rights, it will be very bad for Buddhism to say that women had no chance to express their things even in the Sangha, whom only men or the patriarchal society dominated, and it will be the bad effect of Buddha and his teaching. So, on mediation of Ananda, Buddha admitted women in the Sangha, and the first women to be admitted in the Sangha was Mahapajapati Gautami, who was Buddha's foster mother, because Buddha's real mother, Maya Devi, was dead when Buddha was born. All the followers of Buddha, that is, all the monks and nuns, lived simple life and had only essential requisites for their survival. They did not had any kind of wealth, and they lived in the sun and practiced Buddhism, teaching the Buddhism in around the world. So the emergence of Buddhism as a whole religion happened only after the death of Buddha. When Ashoka adopted the Buddhism, he spread the religion all over the world by sending his messengers, and that was how the religion was created around the world. After Ashoka was converted to Buddhism, he ordered to build stupas at many places which were important with the life of Buddha. He ordered to construct a stupa at Bodh Gaya, which was the place of Buddha's enlightenment, Sarnath, where Buddha gave his first sermon, Sanchi, the biggest and the most important stupa in India presently is Sanchi only, and many other places like Lumbini also, where Buddha was born. Kushinagar, where Buddha died in 483 BCE. The stupas contain the bodily remains of Buddha, which were the relics and the things used by Buddha probably. Many people donated for the construction of Buddha, even the ivory workers, many kingdoms such as Ashoka, Satavahanas of the south, Shakyas of the north, and the northwestern front, that is the Kushanas later on. But the stupas were mostly built by the money given by Ashoka himself. All this information has been constructed from the inscriptions which are stated on the pillars, railings of the stupas of especially the Sanchi, the Amravati, etc. Now we will be looking about why these stupas did not survive in the past. Why only Sanchi stupa is standing today, and the most important stupa and the biggest one like Amravati is not surviving till date. The reason behind the destruction of most of the stupas is the British invasion on India, and when British came, they took most of the parts of stupas to display in their museums located in England or France, and they had this sort of thinking that the art which is on the stupa is not real, it's a myth, and they have to display it in the museums, and they should take the slabs of stupa and their gateways to their country so that they could say that what the amazing things they have taken away from Indian history. Now we shall be looking about the two religious sects of Buddhism, that is the Mahayana tradition and the Hinayana tradition. The Mahayana tradition is the greater vehicle and the Hinayana tradition is the lesser vehicle. Mahayana means that the people who are deeply compassionate and they use their enlightenment for the benefit of the world, and Hinayana considers the self motto of enlightenment and achieving moksha after that. Now we shall discuss about the death of Buddha. Buddha died in 483 BCE at Kushinagar at the age of 80, where it is said that he attained the Mahaparinibbana or the ultimate enlightenment, that is moksha, and after his death he became the teacher and the god of one whole religion which is spread across the world, which has many followers, especially in the East Asian countries. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, press the like button and don't forget to subscribe the channel and share the video as much as you can. Thank you.